it's just a hard realization. It's a hard pill to swallow. That all these 10 years I was not really authentic self. My
Wow.
authentic self would have been being just a feminine, gender non-conforming gay man.
Hey guys, today I got another video for you today. It's about detransitioning, people that have cut their parts and now they realize like, whoa, I wish I had this interesting conversation that most people want to talk about, but it's either hidden or it's suppressed. Hey, this is what caused my channel to be demonetized, man. So remember to like, share, hit the bell notification. It's hard, man. This is my hours. Now this is my hours a month. It keeps going down. I will never get monetized because YouTube does not want to tell me what is happening. We're just removing hours that doesn't seem to be qualified for specific things. Oh, really? Wow, suddenly. When I start talking about detransitioning, right? Gucci on YouTube. Let's watch this video. So before we start, this is Ariela Scarcella. She likes to talk about this town officially as a Christian man. She's my favorite lesbian. I'm gonna be honest. She's honest, down to earth, and she goes straight to the point, and many times she says things that I actually agree that I'm like, damn.
Hi everyone, my name is Shapeshifter. I'm a D-trans male, gay male. I'm 31 years old. I was living my life as a transgender woman for 10 years.
My name is Brian. I lived as Brianna for close to 10 years.
The person who got battered was their femininity, and because of social pressures and internalized homophobia.
As a young adult, young man, bullied really badly in school.
So remember, in the way that this internalized homophobia, it's like you kind of feel gay, but they thought you were like a different gay, and you start hating yourself for being a gay man. So you push it away and try to be a woman, and then you realize, wait, this does not make any sense. And a lot of people seem to transition. Very good, life is Gucci, but usually around 10 years in the future or whatever, something just clicks in the brain sometimes, and usually they become more stable person than all the other people that keep staying trans.
For being, a little bit effeminate. Therapist who specializes in transgender, like what they might call a gender therapist. She basically like pushed me to change my gender.
See?
I'd experience gender euphoria, and I'd be a heterosexual woman as opposed to a gay male.
Sex reassignment surgery in 2015, and I completely regret it.
She said all my problems, my drug addictions, my, somewhat suicidality was all because I was a woman trapped in a male's body.
I hate the idea that you can actually say, if you don't do this, you will commit pachampam, snip, snip, That I'm like, why would you go that far? Because any parents that you do that and you tell them, I'm a doctor, I know better than you, you actually trust them. That's such a disingenuous thing. I think people need to focus more to tell people you can actually be happy with the thing that you have, because everything that we do to change you, it's never gonna make you as 100% as you wished. And if you go that far and you're supposed to be happy but you don't feel that happy after that, something that is permanent, I think that is extremely dangerous, and you don't explain people exactly what they're jumping into. That's like telling somebody to jump without a parachute, but you don't actually teach them exactly what they're supposed to do, what they're supposed to pull. Just say, you know what, enjoy the journey because you're going to be very happy.
Up until recently, I started taking testosterone, and it felt like a part of me came back online, a part of me that I destroyed and killed, and that's what I knew I
See?
made like a huge mistake.
I was in college. I got exposed to the gender ideologue.
Being sold a lie that I could change my sex and have a better life, I got suckered into this, and it completely done a lot of damage to my body.
It's a lot, right? It's very heavy, but it's good because I think hopefully you're not still suffering. But even though you suffered, I think you have a very empowering story because you still have come to your truth.
That is so important. The fact that you can come to your truth in such a unique way. If you follow these stories, the people that did transition, the way that they react is in such a stable way. They talk different, I don't mind you change yourself and do something with your body. That's not the problem. The problem is that I want you to recognize that even if you're going to do something, you're not really that. And that is what they realized, that, okay, I can still go along with this, or I can become back what I was and try to make the most of it. But the fact that I'm going to pretend I'm something I'm not, I'm sorry, it is in a level like that. Because you want people to acknowledge that and call you something that they don't even feel comfortable with. That's the problem. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I don't go to people, hey, call me white man. It doesn't make any sense. Because if they do, and then I realize, wait, they're acting it out for me, man, life sucks. I see it in their eyes. Life sucks. Of course you're gonna snip yourself.
When I was living as a trans woman, it was just absurd. And I started to feel actual reverse gender dysphoria after taking all this hormone stuff.
You have to remember, before any of this trans stuff came to light, before it was popular, before it was a cultural thing, most transsexual, most people with actual gender dysphoria or gender identity disorder are male. So this is fairly a more common thing with people detransitioning being male. You just don't hear about it. Now it's so uncommon to hear about it because all the people that are transitioning, most of the people, like 99%, are females.
Are female?
That do not have gender dysphoria.
But I never crossed my mind that I could like change my sex or something like that till I came to US and I went to school. But then once I went to school and people were like, what are your pronouns? And that's when I started doing more research. And a lot of things started clicking in my head, like, oh, I used to like to play with Barbies and I used to wear a color on my head, pretend it's my hair, you know. It's almost like I latched onto it, you know.
What? Yeah, it's so weird and so scary. Because the thing is, they say that because if you teach somebody trigger warnings, there's a bigger chance they're going to get triggered even easier. That's like you go to a dangerous neighborhood and you was like, hey, I'm having fun. And next time I tell you, hey, next time go, but watch. Be careful, there were weird people there smoking drugs and everything, and they were watching the bot and everything. You are going with a different lens and you're going to see things that you never saw. And then you're going to be triggered everywhere. But the fact that you react in such a way, those people that are there are going to see that you're reacting. So you create this echo chamber in your brain with the people there that think you are watching them, you're judging them, they are judging you, and bada bing, bada boom, you need activism. Oh my God, the world is bad. It's like certain people live way better without trigger warnings. You made it worse. And you make people join you because you want them to feel included in your pain. And you're all painful. And now we have to pay for the money to make you feel comfortable. Now you have a whole freaking month. You want to celebrate everything. Now the companies are... What are you doing, ladies and gentlemen?
I don't really develop breast tissue or anything. I don't really have facial hair. Or I had laser. Like, I have no body hair really. But... I mean, it fucked up my endocrine. My endocrine system is to this day like pretty messed up.
But as I went through therapy, I realized I had a lot of software issues. I had childhood trauma. I'm borderline. I have ADHD.
The other issues that are not gender dysphoria. I would say it's a very typical thing for LGBT people in general to misunderstand one mental health issue as another. A lot of them do have very similar characteristics. So.
Yeah, but you guys have a bunch of stuff like, and you don't go to a therapist, but you want to go forward with whatever you have because you're like, oh man, this is part of me. Somebody told me from the LGBTQ, why do you want to change a kid that has autism? He has to be the original self that he was. You're changing your kid. You're indoctrinating. And when that happened, I flipped. I'm like, what are you talking about? Are you freaking kidding me? You have no idea about mental health and you're not going to get sympathy from me. Go to a therapist.
Which is why it's even more important, and I'm sure now somebody like you is going to vouch for it as well, to go through extreme amounts of therapy, talk therapy and all these kind of things before you're allowed to make permanent changes to your body.
Because here in California, especially LA, there's many different therapists, and actually you don't even need to see the therapist anymore. You can just go to these gender clinics and they'll give you a prescription for whatever cross-sex hormone, whether it's testosterone or estrogen, whichever way you're going. And you can get these referral letters for like all kinds of surgeries, like to have I never had any plastic surgery.
How can it be so freaking easy? What surprises me even, you go to a school, you don't like your voice, you don't like your body, the images start, oh well then maybe you're transgender, maybe you like this, hooray, Obama's gonna visit, Obama loves you, and you will do everything to get the validation from these people. And as a kid, you will do anything. You will believe in the devil if people are gonna validate you. It's super easy, and I'm just surprised that it's so easy. And if you think that and you go to a therapist and the therapist doesn't agree, they can actually, you're transphobic and the therapist loses their license. There is a one-way street if you're LGBTQSA. I wanna win, and if you try to stop me, you're transphobic. Are you okay, man?
I took the hormone therapy, but I still have my parts.
I should have been given letters in just 12 visits for such a life-altering decision that I completely regret. I was not aware. I had my surgery at 24, going on 25, and I was convinced that I was meant to be a woman and this was the right thing. You couldn't talk me otherwise. Anybody who said...
So actually 24, she did whatever thing, and that's still young. But hey, but the point is, 24? I mean, you are allowed to make the decision. The problem is it's permanent. I know people that had tattoos later that I regretted in their 50s. But hey, people.
That otherwise, I was like, this is transphobic. They don't understand me. But looking back, I just confused my femininity for desire to be an actual woman. Like, how the hell do I know what being a woman is? It's a biological experience.
When did you come out as a DETRANS man?
Earlier this year. Like February.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is
Yeah.
this is like super fresh for both of you.
It's just a hard realization. It's a hard pill to swallow. That all these 10 years, I was not really authentic self. You know,
Wow.
My authentic self would have been being just a feminine, gender non-conforming gay man.
If anybody shows even the slightest variation in how their gender should be, they're assumed that they're
Right.
trans, right?
I'm a medical patient till the rest of my life. I have to inject myself with hormones. If I don't, the osteoporosis will get worse. So they pretty much made a cash cow out of me till the rest of my life.
And nobody teaches you that. What's even more surprising that if you do anything to your body, if you have autism and you want to stop, they will tell you, well, we need to evaluate you because if you want to stop the DETRANS, we're not sure that is correct because you have autism. You can have autism to go forward, but you cannot have autism to go back. That's interesting.
Because I don't really give a shit what people do. When I was younger, I had more of like a libertarian vibe. But based on just what's happened to me here in California with the transgender thing and being like, I really feel like had I never met that therapist, I would never, and it's still my fault that I did this. I should have told this therapist to like fuck off. But at the time, I was just void of any meaning in my life.
I'm completely...
Yes, that is also a point also that if you don't have a purpose, you will do anything to find a purpose. But what's the point trying to find a purpose if nobody acknowledges it? But most people that do this, they don't have purpose. I know life is hard sometimes, not everybody has the same chance, but we need to educate people to find purpose, not by changing something on their body, but changing something that gives them feeling inside so they can go forward. Give them a feeling that they can pass through everything to go through or reach that freaking utopia. But they don't have that. But changing your body so you have to take medical for the rest of your life or something bad is going to happen to you, I don't think nobody wants that. Let's say, for example, if you bungee jump, for the rest of your life you have to take a pill. I'm like, what? Why? No, I don't want to do that. That doesn't make any sense.
Mad about what's happening. You know, I feel like these hormones that people claim to be safe are not FDA approved for so-called gender dysphoria. Like, we really don't know what these hormones will do to people who take them for decades. You know, we really don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
The pills that certain people take, they give gangster people so they don't have the feeling to go boom boom other people, you know, which is kind of gangster because they dated to kiss. And guess what? Certain of these medicines, they kiss transitioning people. But if you give them that, they don't even have the feeling to boom boom the other people or the boyfriend or the girlfriend or whatever. Then the boyfriend or girlfriend is going to be like, hey, if you don't have the libido to do something, I'm going to dump you. Wait, what's the point then? What's the point do all of them when you started that somebody supported you and then you can't spend time with them? Now you're alone and now you want to snip yourself. Do you see where this is going? It's like a reverse uno, closer to the word that I'm not allowed to say on YouTube.
There is some information online saying that just by having major surgery like that on my endosystem, I might have reduced my natural lifespan by 10 years.
And I just thought being gay was like a bad thing. I mean, I don't know why I thought being, you know, a transgender would be better, but
The whole notion is like, oh,
That is what we need to research.
Oh, it's not a big deal. Somebody can take hormones for a little while, see how it goes, or get on blockers, like, and then do puberty later on when your peers already went through puberty. That to me is crazy. Even little exposure to cross-sex hormones can make you even more confused. Like, I'm fine with my opinions up until I started taking hormones, and I all of a sudden started craving bottom surgery. I got more sad and depressed.
There is research about this. When you start taking all these hormones, the need to cut stuff because you start feeling different. So you're set already. You're going to do something to make you feel better, but you become more unstable. And usually after that, you start making the decisions to keep you unstable, but you're going to blame other people. So your journey has a purpose because you need to have that feeling or you will snip yourself. And the more you try and the more you don't see the result, hey man, people, it's a snowball that goes in the wrong direction. And nobody wants to talk about this.
But I attributed it that I needed to do the bottom surgery, to complete my transition to elevate.
Right. Yeah, there are actually some studies, I believe, that say that trans women, not that you're a trans woman, but even if you are an actual trans woman, once they get bottom surgery, it doesn't help their depression as much, or their I guess it helps their gender dysphoria, but it doesn't help their mental health as much as they thought it would. So it's interesting that it just winds up being a really shitty human existence, like human experience, I should say.
Yeah.
Do you think that gender dysphoria and transgenderism is a real thing?
I think it's real, but I think it's so rare.
I feel like if there is true trans, we definitely need the stricter definitions. What we have right now is extremely dangerous. Like, guys, alert, we're like in trouble. Like, I don't know how many more people need to say that. Like, we're gonna lose entire generation of youth.
Like, I think there are actual
For
trans
moral
people with
points.
gender dysphoria, but I think that number of people is so insignificant. Most of the time, it's either body dysmorphia or depression or other issues. Doctors, LGBT not-for-profits, the average straight white girl, everybody wants to get on board with this. I'm going to call them whatever they want. I don't want to be called transphobic.
As a man, though, I feel a lot better. You know?
Good.
I didn't date anyone. The whole time I never did anything like that.
The transitioners that I talk to, they're coming more and more forward. A lot of them, have a lot of shame. They don't want to speak out because they have like regular jobs and they'll get fired.
Yep.
Or they're trying to get new jobs. They don't want to be out online with this like story,
I even decided to share this with anybody outside of like my immediate friends and family, is just because a lot of people are doing it now. A lot of people are doing it, and it's not the people who used to be doing it. It's like adults doing it, like,
right.
And I just hope that some of them. But then again, though, when I was totally delusional, if I saw this interview, 8-9 years ago, I would have been like, oh my god, these fucking, But eventually, when I was transing, I started listening to Joe Rogan. And it started, to down the red pilling or whatever.
That the gay people are more likely to show gender non-conforming behavior as kids than straight people.
Exactly.
And left alone, I believe a lot of those people would have just gone out to be healthy, happy gay people.
So, I wish instead of finding transgenderism, I wish I found like an underground boxing club or, anything.
I never came across gender ideology because I never became a medical patient,
They're making it into something much lighter than it actually is.
But I just wanted to point out this, that I'm not saying, look, you do you. You'll be happy. I will acknowledge you and I will call you whatever you want. If you don't come in a narcissistic way, tell me this. Okay, we Gucci, right? But then again, even if you have gender dysphoria, there's a difference between the dysphoria and depression and a bunch of other stuff, gender non-conforming. But nobody wants to do that correctly because transitioning as a trans seems to give you the more happy points. Of all the things that you can have, everybody's going to choose the happy points one. The thing is, the happy points one is going to get you cut and change something permanently forever. So I think people need to take the option to choose this, go in that direction and not just go to a gender thing and then change your body. I'm like, dude, just start popping pills like Skittles. Go to a freaking, no, not a therapist. Go to 5 therapists, and then get your one, just don't get one opinion. Get a second or fifth opinion. Do that. because it would surprise you how easily people are gonna push you in that direction just for the moral points. Because hey clinic, I'm a clinic that make more transgender people because it's good. Hey man, send me more funding, thank you. But anyway, I don't want to talk too long. The video's maybe too long. You know me, want to make it short. Anyway, hope you guys got some information about it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the whole situation. And see you guys next time. Peace. Don't get me wrong, makosa kita bong.